Hi, welcome to the first development log for Dusk Valley, a pixel art roguelite platformer where I send to a remote planet to find the cure for your town. In the next few videos I plan on going through the full cycle of development, through the highs and lows from idea to the final release. I came up with the idea for the game after seeing Denis Villeneuve's Dune. The planet, barren and dangerous, served as inspiration for many of the regions. I've always wanted to create my own worlds, and while I've dabbed in game development in the past, I decided it's time to create and most importantly finish my own game with my own vision. Indie creators like Supergiant Games, Sockpop, Firefly, and Vlambeer have shown that incredible work can come from small places. With today's tools like Unreal Engine or Unity, anyone can make games. Coming from a design background, I knew I wanted to work with my strengths, or at least not put too much weight on my weaknesses, which in this case would be programming. I've seen a lot of developers swear that they need to create their own engine from scratch. This can lead to a lot of problems down the line, such as putting a poor foundation, leading to an unfinished and abandoned project. I looked at different game engines such as Unity, Godot, and GameMaker, and I decided to rely on my previous experience with GameMaker for this project. I have plans for more ambitious projects in the future, although for this one, I want to keep it simple. It's better to start small, as they say. My main tool for planning purposes was Notion. In Notion, I've created a sprint board for batch features, working in a Scrum-like fashion, working on different kinds of features per sprint. Sprints could be approximately a month long. I'm constantly trying to figure out how to prioritize core features, breaking down bigger tasks into smaller ones, and working with my full-time job on the side. It might sound obvious, but it's best to keep your project architecture simple. Things like character selection or the lighting system is secondary to the core mechanics of your game, which is really what you should be focusing on. Something I wish I did more in the beginning was have an experimental period where I could just play around with different gameplay ideas instead of setting up this whole plan, which I ended up deviating from and wasting a lot of time doing as well. At first I had a cursor-based combat system, although this proved to be a little difficult to work with, so I went for a more controlled horizontal style combat that you also see in games like Dead Cells and Risk of Rain. A lot of the pixel art is done by myself. I did outsource a little bit and buy some assets on itch.io, which means currently the style does clash a little bit. However, I do plan on making it more consistent in the future. Combat plays a central role in the game, and I really wanted to get this right. This is why I worked on this first, and it's greatly inspired by games like Risk of Rain and Hades. Similar to those games, you have different types of abilities with different reload times, and you need to plan them out strategically while you fight. You can also upgrade and switch up your abilities, which should make things interesting in the long run. While I've dabbled a bit with randomly generated levels, also as a way to solve this sizing issue, I've decided to stick to hand-built ones again to give more control over the experience. Although to aid the replayability, there is some randomness. For example, the enemy spawns and the object spawns are like pseudo randomized. The complexity of the combat will not necessarily be the one-on-one battles, because obviously they're quite simple, but when you fight them in herds, and the combination of enemies is what makes the combat more interesting, I believe. Even though development is in its early stages, I've opted to create both an HTML version and a local Windows version of the game. While setting this up provided some technical challenges, it offers the benefit of making testing a lot easier. You get really fast feedback cycles due to the ease of access and availability on multiple devices, including Mac and Linux. The web version still has some bugs and limitations, such as a lack of full screen, but this will be ironed out in a later version of the game. If you want to give it a test run, there's a prototype version online on itch.io. I put a link in the description. In conclusion, I've now created the base of the game, which includes a basic gameplay loop, an idea of the level design, and some basic enemies. While I wish I was at this stage sooner, the lack of experience and also having a full-time job, I'm not too surprised it took this long. The next step will be pretty exciting, adding features and fleshing out the gameplay and making it more fun and then making the gameplay feel more elegant. If you like what you see, be sure to subscribe and watch my next video where I'll be adding the boss enemy, the mana system for the ultimate ability, and start with some more game feel improvements. Maybe I'll even add some music, but who knows how far I'll get. Thanks for watching, and see you soon.